Just 2 days before Christmas, on 23rd December 2021, something happened that has blown away the minds of Kenyans. Something happened that Kenyans are still discussing, while being very puzzled. Many are not sure what to make of it. I'm of course talking about what appears to have been a very unfortunate incident that unfolded on Bwana Dennis Itumbi. The incident where Bwana Itumbi is said to have been taken in for serious questioning by 3 unknown persons. And after the ordeal that lasted about 8 hours, sadly, Bwana Itumbi ended up in hospital, where he still is. As sad and unfortunate as this incident is, there are so many things which don't make sense. What is really going on here? I attempt to answer that question in great detail on my show today. Karibu sana.
Chris, just hold it right there. I have a quick question before you start the show. And I want a straight answer. Do you think Dennis Itumbi will still emerge victorious in defeating Riddle, the government project, in 2022? I mean, the man is smart, he even defeated the mighty ICC. Your thoughts please. And don't beat about the bush like you usually do.
To answer your question in a sentence or two, I will give a more detailed answer at the tail end of this show. The outcome of this epic political battle, which I can classify as the digital communication skills of Bwana Dennis Itumbi and well-honed tricks and skills, perfected during the 2017 presidential elections, versus the Raila Odinga political juggernaut, very experienced in campaigns, as unpredictable as the outcome will be. We must acknowledge, hate him or like him, Bwana Itumbi is very good at what he does. However, some very visible cracks have started to emerge from Bwana Itumbi's side, which are very clear and easy to see. I will explain in greater detail exactly what I mean towards the tail end of our show today, so please stay with me. And I also believe my answer will be much more clear and easier to understand after you've taken in the information that I've gathered for you in this video today. Dennis Itumbi, the former digital communication strategist of the Jubilee government, and now serving under the same capacity for Deputy President William Samoei Ruto, is a very controversial Kenyan. The truth is, many Kenyans don't even understand what this man's job entails, what he has been doing, what he seems to be very good at, which means they don't even understand the political impact of what he's been doing, especially the impact of his work in the 2017 contested presidential elections. In this series of videos, a handful of videos, several videos, all that will become much clearer to most. This series even includes information that have been relentlessly researching since the 2017 presidential elections. Because as regulars on this channel will know, I don't like mysteries. I do my best to solve mysteries. But let us start by going very quickly through the events in the latest controversy involving Dennis Itumbi. On Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, at about 2:50 p.m., along Kiambu Road, near Baba Shop, Kinyozi, as we call them in Kenya, 3 men are said to have picked up Bwana Itumbi and vanished with them for about 8 hours. From 2:50 p.m. in the afternoon, he was finally released somewhere, and later found at about 11 p.m. that night. And he was taken to hospital. We are being told that he's in the intensive care unit of the Nairobi West Hospital. And we are told, despite some very serious injuries, and complications that are believed to be pneumonia, Bwana Itumbi is now recovering and getting better. But there are plenty of other very controversial things that are emerging from this Itumbi case. For instance, those close to him have kept him under very tight security, screening his visitors, those people who are coming to see him. And they're telling us that already they stopped a man who was posing as a doctor from seeing him. It seems that the idea was to get more information about his exact condition. And it is clear that those close to Itumbi have decided that that information will be very controlled, so that it is only them releasing this information to the public. That, of course, is not normal. Correct me if I'm wrong. Something else. Somebody was fast enough, and alert enough, despite the circumstances. These things happen very fast, and usually people take time to recover from the shock. But somebody managed to get the registration number plates of the vehicle Itumbi was driven away in, by the people who took him. Now, those number plates did not match the vehicle seen by witnesses. It actually belonged to another vehicle. And the registration and chassis number of that other vehicle belonged to a man from Bomet in the Rift Valley, the deputy president's home ground. The man is called Kipleting Some Ndalut, and is the chairman of the Bomet Travelers Circle. The people who own vehicles, matatus. Now, of course, this information has shocked many Kenyans because it's very strange. Because one would expect that those who are against Dennis Itumbi would not be from the Rift Valley. Because Dennis Itumbi is with UDA, and the deputy president, who belong to the Rift Valley, who are expecting in the 2022 elections to be voted for by voters in the Rift Valley almost to a man. So it does not make any sense. Yet another controversy linked to these manenos is the fact that despite the ongoing police investigation, those in the deputy president's camp are releasing very controlled information, indicating that clearly they've already talked to Itumbi, and Itumbi has told them that the line of questioning by his abductors centered on 2 main very recent issues. One The case of David Mwendwa, the son of the Inspector General of Police, Bwana Matiambai, who was recently involved in a very serious road accident, where 2 Kenyans lost their lives. And it is suspected that the whole accident occurred due to some dangerous and irresponsible driving, allegedly, by Bwana Mwendwa. And the way the whole thing has played out has gone further to raise suspicions. Because Bwana David Mwendwa fled the scene immediately after the accident, but later gave himself up at a police station where he was given a police bond. And meanwhile, family members of the victims have been complaining that there's a cover-up which is ongoing over this issue, over this accident. There are even allegations that Bwana David Mwendwa has encountered the police before, driving while drunk, and has been given preferential treatment. He has not been treated like any other Kenyan would, found in such a situation by the police. And then the other issue the abductors were interested in was the December 17th this year, 2021, post by Bwana Itumbi concerning the KRA, Kenya Revenue Authority, targeting people associated to the Deputy President, even very small traders. Now, of great interest is that both these 2 stories were broken, announced to the public by Itumbi and his Hustler Nation Intelligence Bureau, as he calls it. And the insinuation here is the abductors wanted to know Bwana Itumbi's source of information. Now, the reason why this is very strange, doesn't make a lot of sense, has to do with the fact that allies of the Deputy President are pointing fingers at the government for the troubles Bwana Itumbi went through. Now, if that were true, let's just assume it is true, then this development would be very strange. The reason being, the government has got many ways of finding out the sources of Bwana Itumbi's information. Indeed, to put it very bluntly, it would not be in the interest of Team Keleweke to do something like this that would attract wrath against the government and sympathy votes for the Deputy President and his camp. It just doesn't make sense. You see, Itumbi's Hustler Intelligence Bureau has been operating for a few months now, and they've released a lot of sensitive information. Indeed, they've released other information much more sensitive than these 2 pieces of information that we're told the abductors were interested in asking Itumbi about. And so you need to ask yourself, all these months, do you want to say the government has never figured out where Itumbi is getting his information from? Is it true that the government has gotten so desperate that it was decided to take Itumbi and try and get the information from him in the way it was done last Thursday? That doesn't make any sense. The government has ways and means of monitoring people. The government has ways and means of finding leaks of information, sensitive information, without resorting to what we have seen recently, that the Deputy President's camp is trying to tell us has happened. Those who understand how the government operates, anybody who understands, would tell you precisely what I've just told you. Anybody who has been observing keenly the political battle between Team Keleweke and Team Tangatanga would also tell you what I've just told you, that this is not Team Keleweke style. Unless there's something we're not being told that is very serious, this would not be how the government would react to this situation, which just deepens this mystery further. For those of us who want to find out the truth, and nothing but the truth, without favoring any side of the political divide. And what is even more telling, in case the government made the blunder, made the mistake of acting the way we are told they allegedly acted, then what would have followed very quickly would have been a spirited effort to cover it all up. We've not seen that happen. Why? Clearly, there's something here that's not right. There is consistency missing, which is important in any investigation or in any effort to find out the truth of anything. However, admittedly, there's one possibility that would neatly explain this very unfortunate incident. And I can put it in one word: desperation. One side of the political divide has gotten desperate. And we know that it is human, that desperate situations lead people to act in very desperate ways that are not consistent with the way they have behaved before. And so the question is, which side of the political divide is desperate and has resorted to desperate measures, which has resulted in this latest Itumbi incident? I can't tell for sure which side of the political divide would fit that profile currently. Because as we all know, there are a lot of things that have been happening in quick succession, especially over the last 8 weeks or so, all linked to this epic political battle between Team Keleweke, or allies of President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga on one side, and Team Tangatanga and the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto on the other side. And so we have two possibilities that we need to look at. One, that the government side has gotten desperate and resorted to this latest desperate measure. That was actually a blunder. I think we can all clearly see that. Or the other possibility is that this whole incident was stage managed by Team Tangatanga in a desperate effort to change the narrative in Kenyan politics currently and change the tide in favor of Team Tangatanga. Those are the two possibilities. I don't think there's any other possible option that we can seriously consider at this point in time and with the information we have. Now, whichever of the two possibilities is the truth over what has happened to Bwana Dennis Itumbi, it is still true to say that this unfortunate incident still counts in the ongoing epic battle between Team Keleweke and Team Tangatanga. And it is super fascinating, at least to me, that supporters of Team Keleweke have a different view of what may have gone down from the views of those supporting the Deputy President. Team Keleweke supporters believe in the second possibility, that Team Tangatanga stage managed this unfortunate occurrence, while Team Tangatanga supporters believe that actually this has government written all over it. And both sides are looking at exactly the same evidence. To me, that makes it even more fascinating how this will all play out in the end and how it will all end. Now let me complete my answer to the big question asked at the beginning of this video, which was as follows. In my opinion, who is going to end up victorious finally in this Team Keleweke versus Dennis Itumbi for UDA and the Deputy President? When you have won so many hard-fought battles in the recent past, something changes and you become vulnerable to making mistakes. You become vulnerable to losing the next battle. And the truth is, Dennis Itumbi's side, UDA and the Deputy President, are in the most vulnerable position they've ever been since this whole saga, since this whole war started. And it all has a lot to do with the fact that Raila Odinga has started his campaigns. At least he has started to make his political moves on the political chessboard. Raila's Azimio la Umoja tours all over the country have changed the perception in a lot of Kenyans. Many Kenyans have realized, especially those who had already been convinced that this was going to be a walkover for the Deputy President. The perception has changed and people have realized, hey, the Deputy President has actually got a formidable opponent. It is like a beautiful girl in the village drawing all the attention at a village party. And then suddenly, another village beauty walks in and all the attention shifts to this new entrant. It's human nature. People are a bit tired of what they've been seeing. And now they're seeing something else totally new. And somebody says, kumbe kuna mrembo mwingine. You see, since 2018, the Deputy President has been campaigning countrywide without anybody countering him, without any opposing political force doing the same. And now very suddenly, those politicians close to the Deputy President, many of them very new to politics, very suddenly they are encountering uncharted waters, a strange environment, something they're not used to. At least they've not been used to since 2018 when they started the campaigns. And then the very sudden defections from the Ford Kenya party of Moses Wetangula and the formation of a brand new party amongst the Bukusu community, I'm told has had a major impact on the ground in Bungoma and amongst the Bukusu people who belong to the larger Luhya community or Mulembe Nation. The long and short of it is that those who want to campaign for the Deputy President in the area are suddenly encountering very strong resistance against the Deputy President and his campaigns. And then Team Keleweke have stepped up the narrative about corruption and the Deputy President. They have not yet gone full throttle. They've just suddenly introduced that narrative. And the truth is, although UDA have done quite a lot of things in response, they've not actually found that one thing that can effectively counter this narrative that Team Keleweke is trying to emphasize on. In my opinion, it is not enough to refer to the land grabbing of some people, especially people who are not going to be candidates for the presidency in 2022. That is not very effective. And so all these factors have put the UDA party and the Deputy President in a defensive position they have not been in since this whole maneno started. Now, admittedly, people react differently when they're cornered. There are some people who are at their best when they're cornered. When it looks like there's no other way out, then you start seeing the real genius of that person. And Raila Odinga is one of those people. And we have other people, actually, if I was to say the truth, most of us, who when we are cornered, we lose our cool. And we end up making mistakes. We end up taking desperate measures, which have the real possibility of just making things worse. I believe that is the precise situation UDA's chief digital communication strategist has found himself over the last few days, over the last week or so, leading to the very unfortunate incident of last Thursday. And so if I were to answer this question head on, very directly, this is a war that Bwana Dennis Itumbi will find very difficult to win, especially when you consider what has already happened and what we know is bound to unfold when Raila Odinga starts his campaigns proper. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.